Stay Sane with Jane, the show that helps you and your business to thrive, not just survive. Tune in each week as Jane connects with guests in the wellness, business and publishing worlds, bringing you the most up-to-date training, techniques, healing and guidance for growth, mindset and motivation. Each session includes a magical guided meditation led by Jane or one of her special guests. Here's your host, Jane Scanlon. Hello and welcome to this episode of Stay Sane with Jane. And today we are going to be talking to the wonderful Margaret Hunt. And we're talking to her all about house whispering. And she's got some amazing tools that we can order and use. And she's also got some great tips that we can just implement straight away to make our environments feel and be better. So, Margaret, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Right. Hello, Jane. Thank you for inviting me to join you today. I help people to live well within themselves by enhancing, enriching and empowering people. I do this by using kinesiology, house whispering, digital mapping and spiritual mentoring. And I work with the whole person to help them feel well holistically in their body, in their home, and by working on their energy system.
Fantastic. You've got some amazing tools in your toolkit, haven't you?
I do, yes.
And tell us a little bit about how you got started in this field, because it's quite niche, isn't it? House whispering. And I mean, my audience is very much into the holistic approach to life and within the wellness business and everything. So tell us a little bit more about how you started in your field.
I started by being a kinesiologist, which I still currently do. It's the basis of my practice. It was a friend of mine. She was already having kinesiology, and I was talking to her, and she said that she felt like kinesiology would be really helpful. So I went off and had my first session. When I come off the couch, I went, I like this. I want to learn how to do it. And that was back in 2007. So I started doing the training and loved it. I loved everything about it. I liked how it was working with the body. It was working in the way that the body wanted it to be done, in their priority order, as opposed to being told this is what you need. You were actually asking the body, what do you need to feel well, to address whatever issue that they had. So I ended up in 2011 being diagnosed with breast cancer. So I knew from being a kinesiologist, reading Louise Hay books and a number of others, that I may have possibly have contributed to me getting it. I'm not saying that that was the main reason, but there is some ethos out there that some people believe that sometimes when you end up with an illness, that it could be your mental thoughts that you're having, or it could be your lifestyle, or a number of different factors. So I started to do some research, and so although I was working on my energy system, being a kinesiologist on my clients, I was also having work done on myself. I started to do some research and I found something called geopathic stress, which is to do with the energy in the earth grids and loads of different areas within your life. And also I started to hear a bit more about feng shui, about placements of stuff within the house, how it might not work really well for you. And I started to kind of have a little look into that, to kind of sort of see what it is that was going on, what was I doing in my home, what could I bring in to bring in the harmony, as well as working on my body. I realized I had to do it in my home. So I started to do things and start to kind of feel and notice a shift within the pattern. So then I did a few courses on how to heal your home and liked it. Then I thought I'll do house whispering, and I suppose they say the rest is history. But you kind of it with house whispering, it works with your home working with you.
Yeah.
So your home wants to support you all the time. Your home wants you to be happy, and it wants you to live well while you're living in the home. Estate agents tell you, like, for example, if a couple's married and they start to fall out of love with each other and there's lots of arguments and what have you, that energy is left within the home, in the walls. And if it's not cleansed or removed by someone like myself who has the skills to move these energies on to cause no harm to anybody, it stays in the wall. And now estate agents know that they start to cause certain properties, divorce properties, because the same house after a couple of years come back on the market. Yeah, they know it because I've spoken to quite a few of them. And, and some of them will say, like, they know as soon as they walk into a house, like, they're not spiritual, they're holistic workers, they're estate agents, you know, they're to sell houses, but they know when they walk into a house, something's going on here, but they can't describe it, they can't tell you what. So when I was telling them what I do, they were fascinated by what I do, but they also knew that they wouldn't be able to sell it properly to a lot of the everyday people who are looking for homes, because it would look like it's a little bit too far out there. But yeah, estate agents call certain, oh, here we go, that house is back on the market, clearly they're getting a divorce. I mean, it's like if you go to a hotel, you wouldn't want to sleep on the previous person's bed sheets. You would expect that to be cleaned before you get into the bed. And it's the same with the home. You know, when you buy a home, it needs to be cleansed. It needs to be, the energies of previous people need to be removed in order for you to live your best life as you possibly can within that home.
Yes, and I know when I was looking around houses and flats that there was some I'd go into and you'd really like it. It might not be appropriate for you, but it had a good feel. And then others, you'd walk in and you wouldn't even be in the property and you'd be thinking, oh no, I don't like this. This doesn't feel right.
Yes.
And then, you know, now I am living in the area, certain of the kind of blocks of flats and things that I had looked in, I now know that's like, that little pocket is like, that's not a good area. You're not going to have good neighbours, etc., etc.
Well, it has a knock-on effect, you see, because what happened is that the energy that isn't conducive to you, that isn't supporting and helping you, is just hanging around. And it needs to be removed so that you can live your best life. And a lot of people don't realise that when they're selling their home, that they really should have that house whispered, as well as their new property.
When they go into the new,
But, you know, they don't realise that they need to, I mean, some people call it spiritual cleansing, some people call it, you know, whatever. I just call it cleansing because it's just getting rid of all of that to allow people to move on. I also do it for people. House whispering also comes into play when somebody wants to sell their home and they're struggling as to why it can't sell. I had one lady who had I think her house was on the market for maybe 3 or 4 years. I can't remember exactly.
Wow, in this country, UK?
And she didn't have one viewing. So while she asked for my help, while we were doing the work that we needed to do on her home, her phone rang, but she didn't answer the phone because we was having the process of cleansing her home, and I was telling her what I'd picked up and what needed to be done. Anyway, when we'd finished, she must have messaged me maybe an hour or so later, she said, "You'll never believe it." She said, "That was the estate agent that called. They got a viewing. Someone wants to come and see the property." And that same person that come to view it
Yes.
bought it.
Oh, wow.
I know. So she was
Energy, right?
because I had done some work already, but we needed to do some work together that her home wanted her to do, that her home wanted her to know. And while we was on the phone, I mean, that's mind-boggling, isn't it?
It really is. It really is. Yeah. And something happened to me this year, actually. I rent my property when I go on holiday.
Right.
And I'd opened it up, but there was nothing. Nobody was booking in. I was like, this is so strange. I have never had this. I've been doing this for years now. When I go on holiday, someone comes on holiday here. And then I was like, right, what do I need to do in the house? And it was kind of some energetics, but a lot of it was just basic maintenance. Like the house was like, no, I'm not ready for guests yet. I need all this stuff done to me. I need my taps. I need new taps in the bathroom and this and that.
Yeah.
And then when I got all of that done or like lined up with the various people, the booking started coming in. I was like, oh, okay.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yes. Because you remember was it your mum's?
You've done my mum's and you've done this house as well.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And my mum's was an interesting one, wasn't it? Very interesting. So when I never wanted to move into that house, I was 10 years old when we did move. I'm now 45, so they've still got the house that's still in it. But it was one of those doer-uppers, a big like Victorian townhouse in South London. And I just never felt at home there. Only until recently. Yeah. And even now, I wouldn't have any attachments if they sold it tomorrow.
Yeah.
Type of thing.
Yeah.
So over to you. Explain what kind of came up in that, just so listeners can
I'm trying to think
kind of
now.
understand.
Well, if I remember correctly, is that where that they had the it was down in the basement. The family was working really hard and they weren't treated very well, and there's a lot of resentment that was being held down in the basement. Because I'm sure you said that rats came out after I did the cleansing, didn't you? You said that.
No, that was
somewhere else.
But no, that was it was in the basement, and it was like the workers that
that's right
built the house, that worked in the house, and they didn't know that they were putting in, but they were treated so unfairly, so badly, that it was their own casting negative spells without
this is what
meaning to.
Exactly.
Unconscious, that's it. Unconscious,
because people don't realize that thought becomes things. So while they're working on the house, being pushed to get everything done, they weren't being paid very well, they were feeling really unhappy, they're working long hours, they had young children there doing things, they're bringing the stuff to the workmen to build it, and all of those feelings was going into each brick, each cement being used, and it just left that place feeling very unloved, unliked, old, tired. It went way back. It was really, really old. It's slowly coming back to me, because that was some time ago now.
It was.
I had to look at the paperwork, but I do remember. It was a lot.
And there was a thing with it was at the basement, and there was a little bit at the top, and it was like this funnel through the house, just sort of sapping the life out of everything.
That's right. Yes.
So relationships didn't flourish in that house, It was very cold,
It was
not
hard. It was hard
homely.
work.
It was hard work.
It was
That's
hard
it.
work. It was hard work.
Everything
Nothing
hard
was
work.
flowing. Nothing was moving. Nothing
Mm.
was allowing anybody to grow, to within themselves and as a family. You know, it was a real struggle. It was a struggle. It was like walking through treacle, getting there eventually, but it was hard work.
Yeah, that was it. Now I wonder when that was. That must have been after I had my daughter.
Yes.
It would have been, because I remember, yes, where I met you. Yes.
Yeah.
So yeah, it would have been after I've had my daughter, and then actually I think various things. I know things shifted, but I'm trying to think of my life, because I don't think I stayed there too much long
No,
afterwards,
you
did
didn't.
I?
No, you didn't, because you then went and
I think I
started
had,
looking.
me and my sister had this house sale in South London of
That's
our
right.
property.
That's right.
Then everything started to shift. Yeah.
A knock-on effect, because once you break something and you heal it and you get rid of those negative energies in a safe and the appropriate way, it has a knock-on effect, like quantum physically, like it just has a knock-on effect all around. Because then you were looking for your place, and I remember I can't remember if you called me or messaged me saying, Margaret, I've got this house, tell me if this is my house, if this is the right one. And I was so nervous to sort of say, I believe it is.
Yes.
And it was.
It was.
But it's about putting yourself out there when you're being asked this sort of question. You know, you have to sort of like really trust that what you're being told and given is right, because you don't want to be held if it doesn't work through. Do you know what I mean? But I was getting a strong yes, but I was still hesitant to say, yes, take it. And if it's coming back to me now that I said, it will fall into place. And it did. Everything fell into place.
Yeah.
And it worked out beautifully. I mean, look how you moved on and transformed in areas that you never even began to think about.
Yes. Yeah, definitely. So I love the way you described it at the beginning, was your house wants to hold you. It wants you to flourish. I love that.
Yeah.
It's like it is a container that you are in, isn't it?
Well, it's like when you can always, people don't realise about energy, how it actually is a lot more stronger than people realise. You can always tell when something is not right. You can always tell if a couple have had an argument. You feel it because of energy. You can always tell when you've walked into a room of 50 or 60 people and you've walked in on your own looking for your friend or whatever. You can always tell if someone's looking at you. That's energy. So your energy system is picking up that someone is looking at you. You might not know who the person is, but you get that feeling. So when you move into your home wants to support you. Your home wants you to be happy, and it will hold everything, good and bad, in there. So it's like when I had my home checked, my home wanted me to work from home, and I had a full-time job. I was locked into the salary, and I was just like, how am I going to make this happen? How am I going to make this happen?
Yeah.
And since I started working from home, it's the best thing ever. It's the best thing. So my home knew what I needed, but I didn't know at that time what I wanted. But
and how you could even do it as well. Yeah. How?
You know, when you get, you know, you're so locked into doing the day job that sometimes you forget about what it is your heart wants. But your home wants to support you. Your home wants to give you what you want, what you need. But it's a two-way thing.
Yeah.
You have to give the home what it needs. And then, your home will then support you lovingly, energetically, in what it is that you need. Because houses talk to each other. They
talk to each other. Oh, I didn't like trees.
Like trees. Yeah, they have conversations and they like, oh yeah, all the energy.
Energy. I didn't even think of that. That's
No,
amazing.
everything is energy. Everything is energy.
Oh, that's lovely. So I live in a little, I live in a terrace, but it's only got 5 houses,
Yeah.
5 little cottages. And the first 2 are now empty.
Right.
Because the first one did have someone in it, but she's since passed and the family haven't sorted things out yet. Now the next one was a complete jungle, and
Right.
everybody in our little lane were like, oh, what are we going to do about this? We don't know where the guy's gone, etc, etc. So it's just been left to rack and ruin. Anyway, somebody, because of our kind of continual talking, and I suppose the houses are like going, look, please help me, help me.
Take me, love me.
Please. So finally, we've managed to, someone's got a hold of the person who owns it, who is really old now, isn't coming back, but a family member has now sorted out and taken all the ivy off the back of the house, employed someone.
Showing it some love.
It's just a little bit of love.
Yes.
It needs a ton more, but at least it's now not encroaching on our properties now as well, all the ivy and everything. So it's like, okay, it's still falling apart, but all the ivy has been ripped back, and so the properties and the roofs and the fences are okay now.
But just from what you're just saying, it just shows you the power of love. That's an energy. And when you love something and show it love, it's so healing. And it's free. It's free. You don't have to pay for that. You know, there's that old saying, just be kind. Just be kind. It heals so much. You know, when you love somebody, when your child is naughty and driving you and working on your last nerve, and you're going, my goodness, it's a good thing I love you, boy.
Yes.
It's a good thing, you know, because love is so powerful, you know. And if we as humans want to be loved, so does your home, so does your office, wherever you work, so does your car, so does your garden, so does your driveway. You know, we all survive by being loved.
Yes, we do. And I know you have a lot of love and a lot of kindness. So, and we've known each other for years now.
Yes.
And we've worked with each other, both, you know, both ways round.
Yes.
So what does it look like to work with you now? If we've got people listening, watching, what are they going to come to you for?
When people come to me, they come to me for various different reasons. I'll give you an example. When I first started to do kinesiology, a lady came to me because she'd hurt her back. Now, my treatment room is upstairs in my home. She could barely walk up the stairs. So when she was on the couch, we had to do some emotional work. We had to do think around some words. And there was a particular word that she had to think around while I was holding some acupressure points on her body. All of a sudden, she went, I know what happened to my back. She was at the kitchen sink, washing the dishes. Her and her husband were arguing. She turned around so quickly to argue back with him, she pulled her back out.
Yeah.
So even though she came to me for the backache, it was the emotional side that we were dealing with that helped. She walked down the stairs as if nothing had happened.
That's
It's just amazing. So if we worked together, we would be working with the whole person. We would I would always ask, because the kinesiology that I do, I use muscle testing. So we are asking the body what it wants in the subconscious. I'm not asking the conscious mind. I'm asking subconsciously, what do you need? What do you need to bring you back into balance, to help you to feel well, to help you to feel strong, to help you to feel hopeful, to trust the future? What do you need? What can I do with all that I know? How can I help you? And then I just ask simple questions. Are we working here? Are we working here? Do you need this? Do you need that? I got loads of different things. I got crystals. I got aromatherapy oils. I got flower remedies. I got a list of affirmations. I got books. I got it could be supplements. It could be color. It could be a manner of different things, but it brings the body back into balance because it's whatever it needs on whatever part of the energy system we're working. So if you come to me, you would come in, I'd have you lying on the couch, and I would explain to you what I'm doing all the way through. This is what I'm doing. I would show you the muscle response from your arm, and that you could see that it's not me pushing your arm down, it's your arm releasing, which tells me if it's a yes or a no. And I would just explain as we go along, saying, right, your body wants you to think this. Please don't second guess it. Just think the word, and whatever comes up, allow that to come. Because while I'm holding the points, it's readdressing and it's rebalancing you. Because sometimes the chi from one part of your body to another might be blocked. So the chi, I kind of sort of see it like a vein, and the chi might be constricted so that the energy can't flow through it freely. So the work that I do will loosen that to allow the chi to flow, the energy to flow, so that everything is flowing easier. Sometimes it's too much, too wide. So then the work I do will tighten it up so it can flow in a more stream-like, easier, narrower way. But it's about the energy. It's about the flow. So yeah, the work that I do just works. I don't know, I've been doing it for many years, and I'm still, mind boggles me when I think, gosh, that's amazing, that's fantastic. And when they say to me, because sometimes when things come up with the affirmations that I have, one of the ladies who's a health kinesiologist wrote a book, and behind every aromatherapy oil, there's an energy meaning behind it.
Yes.
And I had a client a few weeks ago, and I had to say to him, I said, look, this is what this book means. This book is going to tell you what this oil means to you. You don't have to accept it, but I need to read to you what it said. Wow, Jane, it was saying, it wasn't very nice, really. And it's not an oil I'd used for a long time, so I totally forgot.
And then you start explaining it. You're like, no.
I was thinking, oh my goodness, this is the first time he's come to me. I'm saying all of this stuff. Oh, jeez, oh my goodness. Anyway, I said to him, you don't have to accept it. I said, just trust the process. It's the energy system.
Yeah.
And he went, that's described me to a T.
Oh, amazing.
Yeah, and I'm just thinking, look at you, Margaret. You've been doing this years and you're still doubting it. Just trust it. And he was, he said, no, I accept all of that. That is me. Yeah, yes. And I was like, I shouldn't second guess it. But when it's not something very positive, it's really hard to deliver that message, but sometimes they need to hear it in order for them to acknowledge it, for them to then release it and let it go. So everything I do is done in the priority order. It's done for the person's highest interest, for their good. Regardless, I do not get in the way. I just do it and allow that process to, go through. So also with the kinesiology that I do, with everything else that I do in my toolkit, is I ask the body how many sessions it needs, how many weeks between each session. So it's not every week they come to me. The body might want to see me again in 6 weeks or 7 weeks. So between each appointment, I ask the body how many weeks, then between appointments 2 and 3, how many weeks, between appointments 3 and 4, and so on. So then that gives the client an indication that this is going to take 6, 7, 8 months, but only need 4 appointments or 3 appointments.
Wow, I
So
love that.
yeah, and the reason it does that is because when they come to me to have work done, the work might need that amount of time to process,
Yes.
to heal, to become normal. And yeah, so it's through that then sometimes the body is saying, actually, it's not the body, it's the house. Because sometimes when I'm working on the body and they come back, I have to redo the work again. And I said, why has this come undone? Because there's something going on in the house, so that all the work was done here. When they've gone home, it's come undone. So then something's gone in their home that needs to house whispering work doing, which is why I work holistically on the body and in the home, in order for the two to work together so it sticks, for them to enhance, enrich, and feel empowered.
That is so
Yeah.
interesting, Margaret. Oh my gosh. And so you always start off with the person and the body first?
No, not necessarily. But if somebody comes to me for kinesiology, they come to me to work on their body.
Yes.
So through that process, that's one way.
Through the process, the house might come up. Yes.
And the house whispering might come up. Other people will have heard that I do house whispering and will contact me regarding house whispering.
Yes.
So I would then look at the whole house. I will ask if I have permission to ask questions on their behalf. And they always give me the yes. So then I would say, do they need kinesiology as well?
Mm-hmm.
And if they don't, that's fine. But I will still use the kinesiology technique to find, okay, where are we working in the house? Are we working in the whole house? And then I just go around and I use my body connected to their body as a muscle test.
Yeah.
I use a dowsing as well. So I've got the dowsing rods, which is behind me. So I've got my long dowsing rods.
Yes.
I use a pendulum. I use whatever is needed. And I always ask, is this what you need? Do you want me to use a dowsing rod, or do you want me to use a pendulum? Yeah. And then I just go from there. So I'm always asking the home what it needs.
Fantastic.
Where's the work?
And how often do homes need this? Because I'm thinking it isn't really a one-off, is it? I mean, a big cleanse when you just move into a house, but then we're adding positive and negative energy to our houses, aren't we?
Well, when I do the home, the work that I do is it's quite a lot of work. It takes quite a few days to do the work. And then we have like a 4-hour time slot where I go through everything and then we do some more work together. So for that family within that home, when the home gets cleansed, healed, it also heals those that live there. So it's not just the home, because it has, remember, energy has a knock-on effect, so also affects those that live there. So they change. Sometimes when I do house whispering, it tests up that someone within the family, or maybe all of the family, will need kinesiology. I ask, do they need it? If they don't, that's fine. Then I just do the house. So while they're living there, it shouldn't come undone. There are things that I suggest to the clients to do. I say, you need to smudge it every so often. After you've had a visit from a friend that may be upset, smudge your house. It would be really good to smudge it on a regular basis just to keep the energies at bay, but it shouldn't need a full house whispering technique while that family is there, unless there's something seriously traumatic has happened to change the equilibrium within the home.
Okay. Oh, I'm so excited by all of this.
You can see why I loved it, because it's like, when I moved in to my home, my I am my husband's second wife, so he lived here with his first. So obviously there was things that needed to sort of change, and you become your own, and you just change the energies, and you just do what you need to do because it has to become yours. It has to become personal, and it's very interesting, all of this. I love it. I love what house whispering does to a home. I love the effects it has on a person. I love kinesiology, what it does on the body. I love how it helps me to help them to become a better version of themselves and the rest of the family. I love it. The animals as well. Love it.
And do homes know how many people they really want to live in it, and animals and things like that? Is that an important thing? I'm just thinking a lot of the houses in London, especially, and in my mum and dad's road, have now been turned into like multiple occupancy homes because they're big old Victorian homes. There's lots of rooms in it. So let's turn them all into bedrooms and have kind of communal this and that. What does a home feel about that?
Well, you have to remember that each home is like a person. They have their own personality. Homes won't mind. Some homes will.
Well,
It depends how what they want to give, how they want to support. Ultimately, like I said from the beginning, your home wants to support you. It wants you to be well. So when you've got lots of different personalities, lots of different people in there, that section becomes that person's home. So these multiple occupancy homes, that room will be that person's personality.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
Because it's not like one family's living in the whole house.
Yep.
It'd be, so that home, I'm just guessing here, I'm just thinking that home will be thinking, okay, so this belongs to family A, that belongs to family B, that energy belongs. But sometimes it can have a knock-on effect with the energy seeping through through the walls. It can, if it's not protected.
Oh, so interesting.
It is.
And what about any advice or kind of top tips for our audience? Things that they can start implementing. You've already mentioned smudging. And I remember when you cleared this house, my house, you sent some, is it myrrh? Was it called myrrh? I think it's myrrh.
Yeah, it's a...
And these little discs, which I put the myrrh on, and it would charcoal discs.
Yeah, this is the person that taught me how to do house whispering uses this, and the monks make it. So it's lots of different things. It's got frankincense, myrrh, lots of different incense that you put on top of the charcoal when it's heated and you burn it. So it's really, really good to do that once a month. It's really, really good if you can do that once a month. I've also created these lovely cards of mine. There is like the A to Z tips for optimizing energy for you and your home. And there's lots of little ideas of what you can do. Simple ones, because I kept being asked by my clients, will you please do a book, or will you please do some cards, because your little nuggets of information is so helpful. So one that comes to mind, it's quite simple. Candles change the ambience in the home. It brightens up the darkest corner, and it just heals. That healing light of the candle, even a little tea light, bright light, it would just change the ambience. It would make it look romantic. If you have loads, it will make it look really bright, but it cleanses. It just makes you
the
feel
physical
better.
Fire aspect of it as well, though, because I could say, but I've got fairy lights instead.
Yes.
But the actual physical flame of candlelight is better than electric fairy lights.
Yes, because the light from the fire helps to heal, and it helps with, as much as it can. It would try and balance the energy. It would just deliver. That's why they have in churches the candles going, because it just heals. It just sends a really good positive vibe through.
Oh,
So
that's
candles are really good. Bowls of fruit are really good in the
I'm
kitchen.
gonna up my candles, right? Bowls of fruit.
Yeah, just because it's one, it's healthy to eat it. Two,
Yes.
it's great to look at, and it's just nice. It just, for the eyes, it pleases. It's a pleasing array to the eyes, having fruit in the home and eating it. Nuts, dried. People sometimes have dried flowers. Dried flowers work better when essential oils are put on it, because obviously if you just have the dried flowers, they can end up getting stagnant. But to keep it alive and to keep it moving, put some essential oils on it, shake it up a little bit, or if you want, chuck a couple of slices of lemon. That will make the smell in that area spread. Great by the front door, so when you walk in, you get a little whiff. So just simple things. A little bit of salt by in each corner of the room, some people like to do, and that just helps to cleanse that area as well. It's not a long-lasting cleanse, so it's just a quick thing to do.
Yeah, something I have done on occasion when there's been a dip in a relationship or something like that. I have done a salt line around my whole property, around the boundary lines of the garden, everything. And I've basically said, no one shall pass this line without mine and my daughters and my animals for highest and best interests at heart.
Absolutely.
And it's amazing. A few of them have never come back.
Yes, because it's the intent. Exactly. It's the intent. If they don't mean you any good, if they don't mean you well, you don't really want them to come in. And sometimes, because when you're an empathetic person, when you're a therapist, it's really hard for us sometimes to really kind of go, oh, I don't know if they're a good person or not, but the empathetic side of you, you're like,
I want to help them.
let me help
I can see their best side. Yes.
Sometimes it doesn't help. So when you do something like that, it is good. Yeah, it is good. And then just sweep it away and bury it in the soil at some point when you feel the need to do that.
Fabulous. And tell me, while we're on the topic of these top tips, where can we buy your cards? Because it's a wonderful idea. You could shuffle them and pick one a day, one a week.
Absolutely. That's what's
focus on that.
Yeah, that's what people who bought them have done. You can email me if you would like, Margaret at MHLifeblance.co.uk, or you can go to my business page on Facebook, and that is Energy Therapies with Margaret Hunt, and just send me a message through Facebook on there, and that would be great. I do, while we're on here, have another thing that's really good to help people who and this was something that I did when I was diagnosed with breast cancer, and I did the conventional route as well as the holistic route. I did the two together, so I think integrated for me personally works really well. I said lots and lots of affirmations, and affirmations are really good to say, because what they do is it changes the energy pathway in the brain to think differently. So I kept saying lots of affirmations all day, every day, particularly when I was feeling anxious and stressed, a bit low. So I've created another set of cards called the Affirmation for the Wise Woman. And there are some just really,
feel free to just pull one out for us.
Okay.
And then everybody can see an up close of one of them. Maybe you're pulling a card for the audience right now.
Okay, so this is what it looks on one side.
Beautiful.
And this is what it says on the other.
Every cell in my body is healthy and happy.
So that you can just keep repeating that and saying that every day. Another one. That's the side on that side, and this is what it says on this side. Oops.
What? I've got it going on. I've got it going on. Yes. Yes.
And they're just ones that just make me giggle, and they just made me feel, it just helped. And just keep repeating it over and over again, over and over again. You'll find that the tummy, the anxiety that you may have felt from feeling stressed about something, you'll find that when you just keep repeating it over and over and over again, the calmness comes back. And when you're calm, you're able to think clearly. And when you think clearly, you make the right decisions from the best place rather than from a place of anxiety and stress.
Yeah. And tell me, I'd like to dive in a little bit to these card packs of yours, because they haven't been designed by artificial intelligence. There's loads of AI stuff going on at the moment. You know, you can create a deck of cards and this and that, like by a couple of clicks of a button for your business now. This is not what Margaret has done. So explain to us how these cards, these affirmations, these top tips came through to you.
It was channeled to me that I needed to create a set of cards. The first one was energy tips to help people in their home. So they have taken months to get together to make sure it was the right word and that the energy in them was correct. The colours, I work with a fantastic group of people who produce the cards for me. It was channeled basically.
Yes. And you, like me, didn't think you could, am I right? You didn't think you could channel. No, nor did I. And it was a skill that I wanted, because one of my last mentor, really, that I worked with over years, and I just was fascinated that she could channel divine guidance.
Yes.
And I loved it. Yeah. And I just wanted to do it too. And for me, I went on her course, and she taught me several different ways, and it wasn't happening. And there was one exercise that I really didn't want to do. I was like, oh, for goodness sake, not another one of these exercises. I just want to learn how to channel. And now she's asking me to pick up crystals and get messages from crystals. I think I've had about enough. Anyway, guess what? That was the exercise I was absolutely amazing with. I touch crystal, messages come through immediately for me. And that's the thing that like clicked everything into place, and I was so resistant of it.
Yes.
How about you?
It's funny you just said that. My mentor, I've been working with her for many, many years, and she told me that I could do it, and I was just like, what? She said, yes, you can do this. She said, I've been told that you can do this. This is after years of working with her. And it just happened one morning. It was like this little voice said, get your notepad, start writing. I didn't believe anything I wrote. I messaged my mentor. I said, I think I've just channeled. I don't know if I have. So then we had him, and she went, yes. And so it's also because I'm a medium as well. I pick up messages all the time when I'm working. You know, I do close it off because I want to be open all the time. So I do pick up messages if it was open all the time as well. I believe that my mediumship has been with me since I was little. Got me into a whole heap of trouble because my mouth would open as soon as I come out. And you can see someone look at these adults looking at me as a child, and I'm like, and I couldn't understand why I was in trouble. Yeah. But then you've got this little 8-year-old saying something. So I think that things have come full circle for me. I feel that things that I already knew are now coming back to me, that I was not acknowledging, I wasn't accepting, that I now believe I'm not a fraud, because I work from a place of love. I work from the heart. I work for the person. It's got nothing to do with me. I'm just a facilitator, helping the body, the home, to be happy, to be well, and just to survive in this world that we're living in right now. And I feel very blessed that my mentor has brought this out, that's helped me. I've seen her work with so many people. She's brilliant at what she does. She's very gifted. She introduced me to the marketing people who did my website, who helped me create my cards, my business card, everything.
And
Because
they
get
sound like
us.
a very holistic and filled
Fantastic.
with love company. Yes.
Definitely.
And that's what
And they,
us business owners, we need to, us
yes,
holistic wellness business owners,
yes,
that's what we need to work with,
yes.
right?
You don't have to try and explain it to them, because they get it. They get the work, because they've worked with my mentor for such a long time, that they now like, oh, okay, we get this now. You know, they did my pictures for my website, they did my logo for my branding, they branded it for me, so it's mine. And you know, this lady she just did that. That's mine. You know, this man, she did that. After one conversation, I said, I need a logo, and that's what
she created.
She got me. She did.
It's amazing.
It's fantastic. You know, and I'm not sure if I'm allowed to say who. Am I allowed to say who?
Yes, you can totally plug them.
Okay.
Yeah.
My mentor is Claire Walker, Intuitive You. Brilliant. And the marketing company I use is called Holla. And Sophie was the one that created that for me. There's a team of them. They all work together for the client. So when my cards got delivered to them, because they did it all for me, they knew that I wanted them to be balanced and in the right place before they touch the cards. So they lovingly check the cards. It's the whole process. It's been a process of, and I love what they do. I love how Claire just loves what she does. She's an amazing woman. She used to be a policewoman.
She used to be a what?
A policewoman.
Oh, a policewoman.
Yeah, she's just fantastic. You've got to go and have a look at her website. You've got to look at her website.
Oh, well, maybe I can interview her too. That would be amazing.
Yeah. Oh my God, yes.
And the company. Yeah, that would be fabulous.
Yes. Brilliant. It's lovely.
So we're giving all this wonderful knowledge to our audience anyway. We've just given them 2 amazing leads as well. So have you got any offers, current offers or evergreen offers for the audience, people that are listening, people that might download the podcast in 6 months' time, you know?
At the moment, I do blueprints, which is me connecting with the Akashic records. Each person has a library of information that's connected to their soul. So the soul knows everything about this person. So I do what we call a blueprint, where I get information, and it's a 12-month PDF. So it's month by month with guidance of what will help this person to enrich, empower, and enhance their life. And I normally charge £333 for that, but currently at the moment I'm doing it for £234. Now I don't know how long I'm going to do that for, so I know that you did say for like 6 months' time. The offer might still be the same then, it might be a different price, it might have gone back up to the full price, but currently at the moment, as we stand on the 2nd of May 2023, it's £234. So yeah, and I had my blueprint done, and I found that absolutely amazing, fantastic tool to just keep going back to help me to focus on what it is that I need to work on internally to help me feel whole. instead of feeling like I'm just existing. I wanted to feel connected and understand myself. So I've always found that very beneficial to, and I still have my blueprint done to this day.
And if I'm looking at your website, which I am now, when I'm looking at your website, I can see something called digital mapping. Is that the blueprint?
No.
Or is that something different?
That was something else that was channeled down to me. It's another modality that I use to help my clients.
Yeah.
And it's basically, I use this, and it was created to help through Source and the celestial team of beings who said to me that a lot of therapists have more than one modality, and they sometimes don't know what modality to use for their clients.
Yes.
So I had to create a database of all the modalities that I have had in this life, used in previous lives, and the many, many lives that I've lived before.
Yes.
What happens is that I work with the therapist, and then their energy system will pick all the modalities that they know for this existing life and previous lives, and they will take what they need. And what happens is that healing process helps them to be able to consolidate it, maybe, or to be able to find which one is needed for that client. So they're energetically picking what they need. It's like they've gone to a library and said, I want that book, that book, that book, that book, and they're taking what they need. It then helps to work in their energy system to feel a part of them, and then they're able to help move their clients on forward.
My gosh, that is very interesting.
But it was Source that called it digital mapping.
Oh, yes, fabulous. I know lots of people that they channel what each product or service is going to be called, don't they? Yeah. And it's something I've started doing as well, and I know other people which I've done as well, is you get a crystal for the offer. Yes, yeah, Margaret's
Carry on.
yeah, Margaret's nodding. A crystal for the offer, and then you can literally kind of pick up that crystal and channel, and then each offer and your business has its own identity, its own personality, and then it chooses its soul clients as well. So it's very much not you, the business, it's you co-creating with the business, with the offer, and with the divine kind of holding space for all of it.
Yes. So with the digital mapping, it doesn't just deal with the modalities that they know in this life. It also brings forward all of the modalities that they've had in previous lives. That helps to bring that forward. It's very subtle.
Yeah.
Often when I do this work on my clients, they don't even feel anything necessarily happening. But I, from afar, can see the change in them that has subtly, it's like, oh, okay, they've been able to bring these things together to work to help their clients. So it's just not to do with modalities from this life, it's also previous lives where they may have.
Fascinating. Right. Well, if you would like to get in contact with Margaret, which you should do, go to www.MHLifeblance.co.uk. Where you can dive into her different services. You can look at all the testimonials, and there's lots about Margaret and her journey. So go over there. All the details are there. It's been an amazing interview. I haven't stopped, because normally I would do like a 10-minute meditation or something, but I was like, no, this is too fascinating. We are skipping on the meditation and we're going to carry on talking to Margaret. So thank you so much.
Thank you.
Stay sane with Jane. the show that helps you and your business to thrive, not just survive. Tune in each week as Jane connects with guests in the wellness, business and publishing worlds, bringing you the most up-to-date training, techniques, healing and guidance for growth, mindset and motivation.